So I'm going to read a poem from Mark Strand. This is from his collected poems, new selected poems, but the book in question is Darker, which is probably, I think, one of the first books of poetry I ever bought with my own money as a teenager. The Way It Is. The world is ugly and the people are sad. Wallace Stevens. I lie in bed. I toss all night in the cold, unruffled deep of my sheets and cannot sleep. My neighbor marches in his room, wearing the sleek mask of a hawk with a large beak. He stands by the window. A violet plume rises from his helmet's dome. The moon's light spills over him like milk, and the wind rinses the white glass bowls of his eyes. His helmet in a shopping bag, he sits in the park, waving a small American flag. He cannot be heard as he moves behind trees and hedges, always at the frayed edges of town, pulling a gun on someone like me. I crouch under the kitchen table, telling myself, I am a dog. Who would kill a dog? My neighbor's wife comes home. She walks into the living room, takes off her clothes. Her hair falls down her back. She seems to wade through long, flat rivers of shade. The soles of her feet are black. She kisses her husband's neck and puts her hand inside his pants. My neighbors dance. They roll on the floor. His tongue is in her ears. His lungs reek with the swill and weather of hell. Out on the street, people are I have a cat. People are lying down with their knees in the air. Tears fill their eyes. Ashes enter their ears. Their clothes are torn from their backs. Their faces are worn. Horsemen are riding around them, telling them why they should die. My neighbor's wife calls to me. Her mouth is pressed against the wall behind my bed. She says, my husband's dead. I turn over on my side, hoping she has not lied. The walls and ceiling of my room are gray. The moon's color through the windows of a laundromat. I close my eyes. I see myself float on a dead sea of my bed, falling away, calling for help, but the vague scream sticks in my throat. I see myself in the park on horseback, surrounded by dark, leading the armies of peace. The iron legs of the horse do not bend. I drop the reins. Where will the turmoil end? Fleets of taxis stall in the fog. Passengers fall asleep. Gas pours from a tricolored stack. Locking their doors, people from offices huddle together, telling the same story over and over. Everyone who has sold himself wants to buy himself back. Nothing is done. The night eats into their limbs like a blight. Everything dims. The future is not what it used to be. The graves are ready. The dead shall inherit the dead. So it's difficult, of course, to pick one Mark Strand poem, but I think I like that one in particular because he presents a normal world that becomes increasingly strange and apocalyptic, and it certainly has what I think of as his nihilistic worldview. So I'm going to read you a poem from my book Vow. The poem is Fox Assesses Rabbit's Damage. And just so you know, these are two characters, Fox and Rabbit, who are in a relationship. And as you might imagine, that is somewhat problematic. All those weeks I slept outside your door in a sack made of hair. You never noticed my carbon footprint, my impact on the flower bed. How I went through such changes there. How I waxed and waned to the width of your silhouette against the glow of another man's possessions. In the lessening winter light, I inserted a pencil in your bedroom window frame to keep it open just enough. You slept on, and in that sleep, you were always saying wrong things. That was my fault. There were many ways of making you talk, but my favorite was to slide my hand under your shirt and work your mouth around the thick of it. Language should be keyed to the beauty of the speaker, that is, ugly as life has marked you, live as the lie you need. These days, I try to sleep like a man in a bed my own. I am my own man, even if only my hands register the condition. Didn't these hands once have the measure of how far you could stray from an ideal woman's face? I sleep in my own bed. I call it sleep, even when I wake to the same room. But when I change the sheets, I find your hairpins, your books, I find you folded under the mattress. Who then did I watch for so long, and why was she a prettier thing? You are dried and withered. You are not what I thought. I liked the other one, how she looked against the light, the distance of her. Sometimes I shook the window and she fell to the ground. Thank you.